Jack here, owner of Hockey Alley, bringing you back hockey history. Today's guest is NHL player Dave Babych. How are you doing, Dave?
Good, good. How's it going out there?
Everything good, thanks. Yes. Uh, yeah, so how many years did you play in the NHL?
I think I got lucky enough to 19 years.
Wow, that's awesome. And you started with Winnipeg, correct?
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got drafted there, 1980.
And how many games did you play, approximately?
I don't really keep track of my stats,
Oh,
but
no.
a regular season, I think I was like around 1,200.
Wow, okay. Yeah. And then you played juniors in Western Hockey League and I think AJHL 1 year, and you had like 100 points
Yeah,
as a defenseman.
yeah. No, I got some points there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was in Fort Saskatchewan, in Alberta Junior Hockey League, and then played in Portland for a couple of years in the Western Hockey League.
yeah, that's
So yeah,
incredible.
so
Yeah,
I had some good years there. Yep.
yes. Uh, what what's the difference when you got to the NHL? Did your game change at all?
No, not really.
No.
It's just you have to learn how to play with with men instead of playing against everyone your same age.
Yeah,
It's got a little tougher. I mean it was more of a. I mean physically it was demanding, but I was big enough to handle that. But mentally, all those guys were the best of the best players in junior or wherever they came from. So it was it took a while. Took a
yeah,
while, but yeah, no, it's yeah. I
yeah.
thought it didn't take too long to fit in, but
No. Were you still improving as you were playing like first couple of years?
well, you're always improving.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what it is. It's you. I mean, I was strong enough, but still, your body's still developing at 18, 19. No matter how big you are, it's different strengths and all that kind of stuff. Same with your hockey IQ. You got to develop different systems in the NHL, all that kind of stuff. And
yeah.
but yeah, you always develop your game. If you don't, then it's like anything else. If you don't try to get better, no matter even if you're the best, there's always people that are going to close up from behind.
Yeah. Did you have any favorite defensive partners over the years that you adapted well with?
Oh, I had everyone I played with, I enjoyed playing with in different ways, But there was a few that I had real long, you know, like years with. So I mean, I remember in Hartford, it was Joe Quinville. That was probably 4 or 5 years. Played
Hmm.
with him, and then Gerald Didick out in Vancouver here. There was at least 5 years with him.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good, and then even in Winnipeg, there's different guys, but I got a chance to play with Serge Savard a little bit, who
Oh,
was
wow.
in a Hall of Famer, and
Yeah.
you know great person. But yeah, everyone. I mean, because it was just different. Some guys you know didn't play long enough to really be a partner for
Yeah.
any length of time, but it didn't mean that I didn't enjoy playing with him.
Yeah. And what about like Randy Carlisle in Winnipeg? How was he? Did you ever play on as a defensive partner with him?
Well, yeah, we
Yeah.
we played some together, but
Hmm.
off and on. It was I mean, some power play stuff.
Hmm.
But I know when he came in, I think I got traded a year or two after. So yeah, a little bit, yeah. But I liked Randy. Randy was a good
Yeah.
player. He
Yeah.
was a hard nosed guy. Could really play the game. Um, yeah, and we used to do a lot of ice fishing together
Oh, cool.
in
How fun is
Winnipeg.
that? That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great memories. I want to tell you, so the 1994 Stanley Cup Finals was the last best final I saw. It was a war out there. Hockey has not been since the same. So how was it for you to play in that Game 7 against the Rangers when you were with Vancouver?
Well, it's terrible now because I know the outcome. But
Yeah, but
yeah, it was.
besides the
Yeah,
outcome.
no, it was great. It was. You know what? It's such a grind that the playoffs. We just started rolling, and we had a terrific team. Should have easily won, or could have easily won it, but you don't. You don't realize that you have a chance to win the cup until that game 7, because like I said, you're so beat up and tired, and
Yeah.
just one game kind of morphs into the next. But you know, thinking about it the night before, you're like, oh, geez, one game for a Stanley Cup here, like and that's when it kind of sunk in. So you talk about not having any sleep, and then it comes, and you're running on fumes, but you always.
Yeah.
You work as hard as you can to the outcome to go your way, and it never did. But it doesn't. I don't think we see ourselves as the losing team. It's just a team that didn't win. The cup. We're
Close. Game 7s are a dream for a lot of kids everywhere in the world to play Game 7. You got to experience that, which is really cool. Not too many people in the NHL get to experience that. Wanted to ask you.
yeah.
I want to ask you, what was a turning point for you guys to get there? Because in the middle of the season, you guys weren't really at the top. But what turned it around? There was something that happened. Do you remember that year?
Well, I don't think one thing that happened. I think we just. I think that it was kind of like what's going on now here. You make the playoffs now, and any of those teams have a pretty good chance. And our record wasn't even close to as good a team as we had. It's just a few injuries during the year, and you go through some bad stretches, but we hung in there, and I knew if we would have got through the first round, we would have been rolling. It was a tough one. I mean, it was against Calgary, so
Yeah.
I mean that they were I think the top in our division at that time, or close to it. And once you beat them, and that confidence is back, and you're rolling, and firing all cylinders there, it you feel invincible. And then the next two rounds we took it to them, like what was it, Dallas and Toronto, and I don't think we even worried about those series. I mean, we did. Of course you do, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about to have the confidence to win.
Yes.
That never came into our minds.
Yeah. Who was your toughest opponent you faced as far as like skill wise coming down against you while you were defending? Any certain players?
I mean, I played against a lot of the greats, so probably the toughest one-on-one was probably Yager.
Yager. Okay. What about Lemieux?
Yeah.
Was Lemieux's also?
Oh, he was good too. Yeah. No, for sure. But Yager was different because he just he was stronger with the puck. You even if you tried to hit him, he's so big and strong that he would just absorb it and go the other way. It's there's something about him. He the one-on-one stuff. He was real tough. I mean, Lemieux was too. Gretzky was in a different way. Forsberg was another one who was really, really tough one-on-one, just because he was strong and great hands.
Yeah. Were there any predictable guys, like you knew what they were going to do? Were there any players like they come in, you're like, he's going to do this move, and did you have any of those guys out there?
Oh, there are lots of guys like that.
Yeah.
He's gonna do that. If you, well, it's. Well, if you did think someone was going to do something, then that's when you get beat. So, I mean, there was a lot of things when you're looking at someone coming, let's say 1-on-1, or whether it's a 2-on-1, you always, try to calculate, okay, who's the better shooter on a 2-on-1, you know, if whoever's not the best shooter, give him a little, push him outside and let him take the shot.
Yeah.
Because there's some guys you didn't want, or push him to his backhand. Chances are they're not going to score every time on that. But so there's things you do to kind of minimize what the quality of chances would be. But sometimes you don't have that much time, and you just got to react.
Yes. Yeah. And who's
Yeah.
you?
No, I wish it was predictable. Hey,
Well,
I wish it was predictable. Where you go, oh, that guy's gonna do this. Well, no, it's not quite like that.
well, they got certain moves that they like to use more often than others. I was just saying, like if they come in, and some guys, will peel away a lot. Some guys will try to dump it, that kind of thing. Any favorite coaches over the years?
Well, I like most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pat Quinn was one of the. Well, I had him for 6 years here in Vancouver, and there's a few guys. I like most of them in different ways. I know we had Roger Nielsen in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. How was he? Is he a player's type of coach, Roger?
Oh, he was terrific. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
very, very organized. Very,
Okay.
very organized. And so Pat was probably. Just as an overall, he was just a guy's guy, and players coach.
Yeah.
Roger was great. I had Tommy McVie in Winnipeg when I started.
Mm-hmm.
He was. I think he set the record for the worst coaching record in history, but terrific guy.
Yeah. He was with New Jersey
had
too.
Jack Evans.
Oh, Jack Evans, yeah.
And Washington. Jack was. I just saw when Bobby Hull passed away that Jack played with him in Chicago, and there was a picture of both of them on the news, and it was good to see Jack's face again because he's passed a long time ago, and so it's. I could go on. I'm just trying to think who else there was.
Did you have Ferguson as your manager in Winnipeg? John.
Yeah. Fergie was the general manager there. Yeah.
How was he? He's
he's good.
General
good.
manager.
It's just a fair guy. Fair, hard nosed guy. He was the same when he played. You hope he. If you had a bad game, you hope he didn't come in the dressing room the next day after a few scotches that night. So he. But no, good guy. I really like Fergie. Fergie, like I said, fair guy or smart guy. He treated everyone as good as he could.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome. Yeah. And you were in the movie Slapshot. How did you get that role?
Oh, I just knew some people that were going to do. It was Slapshot 2,
mm-hmm.
and they asked me if I wanted to do the hockey coordinating. So I said, yeah, sure. I wasn't doing a whole lot at that time, but so yeah, I did it. And then when the director and I were going over all the hockey stuff, because there was a lot of that. There was probably at least a couple of weeks of shooting on the ice.
Yeah.
That he goes, well, geez, you want a part in the thing? And I'm like, well, of course I do. So he said, it wasn't a huge part, but yeah, no, it was big enough, and very interesting. Just because you're involved in the whole process. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
That's
like
awesome.
being on a team again. When you weren't shooting, all the guys are in the dressing room and just hanging out, and it was good.
That's cool. And the lady coach in the movie, was she really a hockey player or just an actress? Did she have to learn how to skate, or she can actually skate?
Oh no, she could skate. Okay. So I don't think she was a hockey player, but I think I believe she was from here, British Columbia, and so with family members skating when they were younger, she could skate. Mm-hmm. I know it probably hadn't for a while, but
she looked good out there.
She probably skated. Yeah, she skated better than Stephen Baldwin, who was supposed to be our lead. He couldn't skate worth a darn. I tried working with him, and it was just It was basically useless.
Oh.
So anyway,
Was everybody?
magic of
Yeah,
movies, I guess.
yeah. I mean, it's tough to skate at an older age. It's not easy to learn. You know, was it? Was
Well, if you
every?
haven't done it,
Yes.
since go, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, if you haven't done it when you're younger, it's you can pick it up as you're older, but no, he wasn't even interested. So it's just one of those
Oh.
kind of prima donna. Thought he was a movie star, but anyway, he was on Slapshot too. It's not a
Yeah.
wasn't really a big budget movie, so.
No. And was everybody on board with the storyline that they used? Like the Hanson brothers?
No, not at all.
No. Okay.
Well, the Henson brothers. I mean, they're just trying to make it fun. But I even talked to the director a whole bunch of times. I go, you know what? No one, no one in hockey would be talking like this.
Yeah.
And so I said, you should change this stuff. You can actually make this into a funny, good movie.
Yeah.
And then when he went to check with the studio, and because of budget restraints, they didn't want to change any of the scripts and some of that kind of stuff, and he just said, "Hey, listen, our hands are tied." But yeah, so they just went with what they had, and I know it was some guy that wrote the story, and his hockey background is he was in intramurals in high school playing hockey. That was as far as he got. So he obviously had no idea what really went on in a dressing room or off the ice or any of that kind of stuff. So it was just kind of goofy, but needless. And anyway, it was a lot of fun to do because most of the actors were Canadian, and then like I said, got to know them, and we had a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I wish they changed the storyline a little bit. Maybe added a fight at the end. The final scene where you guys played the what were they called? The other team. I forgot the name of the team, but there should have been like a big fight at the end. That would have been good. Maybe I don't know.
Well, yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
I guess a fight never hurts anyone, in a show. But it like I said, it was just it was goofy, and especially when you actually knew what really went on. And but you know what? That's the way it goes. Like I said, it was all budget related. So
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. So how good was Pavel Bure, your teammate in Vancouver? Did he?
Oh, he was good. I mean,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, did he play the way he wanted to, or did the coach involve a lot with his play? Like, did they interfere with the way he played, or no?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, they just let him play. But no, good teammate, like a terrific player. It was embarrassing to see him not being in the Hall of Fame earlier, and even here in Vancouver, they didn't even put him up in the retires jersey quick enough or any of that kind of stuff. It's just I don't know why he wasn't recognized because, or earlier I meant because he was that good.
Yeah.
And he changed a lot of things for Russian players coming over.
Yeah, for sure. And if there was back then there was a two-line pass, and he still had 60 goals, 60 plus. I mean, if he would have had no two-line pass, you think he would have had like today's game more? How many more goals?
Well, hard to say. That's hard to say because you defend a little different now too, because of that. With a guy like that, I mean, there would always be defensemen backing up with him. So before the defenseman didn't have to back up that far because you couldn't make that two-line pass. But back then, I know, like, I mean, I hit him with a lot of passes, but you actually had to think before you made plays because of the offsides.
Yeah.
Or you had to make good plays. You had to skate. You got to get the line, and then you make your play. But he was, with the jump he had, he could be standing next to the defenseman and then take a couple strides, and he would be a stride past him, and then it's the timing of how you hit him. I mean, there's a lot of times where you throw past him, and if he wasn't comfortable, he'd just leave it.
Huh.
But when he knew he was open, you hit him, and chances are it was going to go in. It was pretty, same with McGillney, same type of player. McGillney was a little bit different, maybe a little better hands, in traffic. But Pavel, his hands were terrific too. But it was all in full speed.
Yeah, he's fast. Probably the fastest in the league at the time. Him and maybe Fedorov. They're close.
No, there's lots of fast guys. You had guys like Solani.
Yeah.
You had Mike Gardner. There's a lot of fast guys. There were just, a lot of the North American players. They learned the Canadian game where you had to be responsible defensively and all that kind of stuff, and these other guys, it took them a while to learn that part of it.
Yeah. What players did you mentor over the years? Winnipeg or Vancouver, or
that I mentored?
Yeah, like
that's a tough one because I don't know. Like I mean, I guess you'd have to ask them because they're the ones that if they got anything from me, that it wasn't like hey, we got a lesson today. But I know when I did play. Well, I mean, we worked with each other when I was playing, and then I know when I did player development here, you work with all kinds of guys, forwards and D. But I worked with like Chris Tanev here. We did a few years of summer training, and Kevin Canon. I mean, like a lot of these guys, played like Tanev. These guys were always good players. It's just, when you're part of the development team, you got to just keep working with them and refining what they know, and get the best out of all their assets.
Yeah. If you were a commissioner of the NHL, what rules would you add or change? So if you had to change the game, any rules that you hate or they don't have?
Well, the instigator rule, I guess, in a fight, but just because of some of the cheap stuff that goes on. But yeah, I don't know why. Like I would like to put the red line back in, just because I think you would have more playmaking. Like it would force defensemen and forwards to. Instead of just playing a tennis game by one forward standing at the far blue line, D fires it up, tip it in, and then the other team does the same thing. It's basically tennis. It looks like it's a faster game, but in a lot of ways it's not. But I just think then you just force people to make better plays, quicker plays, smarter plays. The teams that would dump the puck or get rid of the puck all the time are the ones that would be the weakest. And I think now a lot of it is there's some of the stronger teams that just get rid of the puck, and I don't agree with some of that.
Yeah.
I think they should bring a little, not the hooking and holding, but just to be able to help out your defense partner and hold up somebody that's puts it in and it's going full speed without getting touched, and that's why some guys are getting hurt, because there's no way to slow people down.
Yeah.
Whether it's a 1-2 second rule or something, but I just I don't like that, just because and then guys don't. Another thing, guys just don't protect themselves. Any guy that gets hit from behind, most of the time, they don't protect themselves, or they don't think they're going to get hit, and even through accidental contact, these guys are getting kicked out of games, and when I'd say probably 95% of the time, there's no intent for it. It's just that the guys that are getting hit just turn their back and think they're not going to get hit, and now there's an injury waiting to happen. So there's a few things, but in saying that, the guys are they're fast and skilled, and I mean we were too way back. We just played a different game.
Yeah.
Most of the guys could play this game too. It's just What's that?
Heavier sticks too. You guys didn't have the light equipment they have now either, and you guys still played great.
Well, that's just what you're used to.
Yeah.
You know, that's just what you're used to. Now, if they notice a difference if there's an extra couple ounces on there. You know, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm all for like they turned their back, and when we played, we never saw that. All the years I played, I never saw anybody turn their back. Now every game, I see people turn their back, and then they get hit, and we're supposed to feel sorry, and and then they start suspending the guys. So it's crazy. So maybe there should
Well,
be.
like I said, sometimes yeah, sometimes they take advantage of it, but
Yeah.
for most part they don't. Nobody wants to hurt anyone.
No.
If the idea of a hit is to separate the puck from the player.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyway, it's a yeah. There's lots to discuss, but
Yeah. Would you add checking as a for the youngsters starting in mites? Skating in the same direction and angling the guy with a stick on the ice like 6-year-olds. So there's some body contact because they're not doing checking till bantams now, and that's why I think people are getting hurt. They're not used to it.
well, yeah. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's a joke to think they put a stop sign on the back of a jersey and that's going to stop people from hitting somebody. Like it's that's an insurance company. This might be a good idea. Those are the ones that never played the game before. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it should be right from the start. Not full contact, but bumping and
Yeah.
angling, like you said. And we did it when we were kids. And if somebody rocked us, we'd just get back up, and the coach would say, keep your head up, or that's going to happen again. So of course you do.
Yeah.
You know.
They're going looking for a fight now. Every time somebody gets hit, they want to drop the gloves for getting hit. That's part of the game. I didn't know that hockey wasn't
Yeah.
checking. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they think that's going to make the team closer.
Yeah.
By and you know what? If somebody gets a cheap shot, absolutely. But
Yes.
for most part, they're not cheap shots. They're just a good hard hit.
Yeah.
But it's funny. There's a lot of good hits too that nobody challenges, and you wonder how do they decipher which is when you're going to fight and when you're not. Is it because it's a bigger guy, or like what is it? You
Yeah.
either do it or you don't. And I think it's kind of ridiculous at times, but
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe that, like I said, maybe that's the way they think the team's going to be closer.
Maybe. Yeah, it's different. Definitely different mentality now in the NHL, and I don't watch as much as I used to. Definitely not. But I just got to say that '94 playoffs was the finals was probably the best finals I saw. Since then, there hasn't been the same. The intensity that game was something, and just haven't seen it again. Not as much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's still good hockey, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's evolving.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, or maybe it'll evolve back to where it was a little bit. So,
Hope so.
but yeah, who knows? No, it's
Yeah.
yeah. But you still, I mean, I like watching. I like watching games where both teams are actually trying to win
Yeah.
instead of just keeping it close. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the best part too. Yeah. Dave, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. I really appreciate it. It was an honor to have you. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, it was great stories, and you're welcome. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Take care. Yeah.
Take
Bye.
care.